At Arizona State University, we've made online education better, smarter, and more personalized so you can go further in your aspiring field.
I decided to pursue medicine once I realized that ASU did have the online program for biological sciences. You're still required to learn the same curriculum. You're still being tested on the same content that anyone would be tested on in person. The comprehensiveness of the program prepared me so well for medical school.
Explore over 300 programs at asuonline.asu.edu. With so many options, why choose Arizona State University?
For me, the only online option was ASU because of the quality. Their faculty was really involved with their students and care about your personal journey. The dedication to my personal development from my professors, that's been extremely valuable to me.
Earn your degree from the nation's most innovative university. Online. That's a degree better. Explore more than 300 undergraduate, graduate, and certificate programs at asuonline.asu.edu.
Have you ever woken up and realized you can't move? Like your body is stuck, but your mind is wide awake. Sometimes there's even a heavy feeling on your chest, and your brain fills in the blanks with shadows and shapes. For centuries, people have called these episodes sleep demons, witches, spirits, demons, all blame for what's happening. But is it really something supernatural or just how our brains work? Today, we're digging into what causes this and why it's been part of human experience all over the world. You ever wake up in the middle of the night and realize you cannot move a muscle? Like you're staring at the ceiling, heart pounding, but your arms and legs have apparently checked out on the job. That's sleep paralysis. And no, it's not just you being dramatic after one too many late-night horror movies. Scientists say it happens when your brain decides to wake up before your body does, which honestly sounds like a terrible plan. See, while you're dreaming, your body naturally locks down to keep you from acting out any crazy business, like punching your boss in your sleep. Normally, your muscles stay locked until you're fully awake, but sometimes your brain flicks on the lights while your body hits snooze. The result? You're awake, but trapped in your own body. Add to that the classic sensation people report, a heavy pressure on their chest, the feeling like someone's in the room, or even shadowy figures looming nearby. It's like your brain's way of saying, hey, welcome back. Here's a free horror show. Now, before you start thinking you've got an actual demon sitting on your chest, know that this happens to roughly 8% of the population regularly. That's millions of people worldwide lying there frozen, terrified, and utterly confused. Statistically speaking, there are many of you that I'm talking to right now that have experienced this. And if you are, let me know your experience with this because it sounds absolutely terrifying. And while it's usually harmless, the feeling of helplessness combined with hallucinations can make you swear your room just turned into a haunted house. All right, so your brain's frozen and your body's trapped, but people didn't always have science to explain that. Instead, they had stories. Lots and lots of stories. And almost everywhere you look, these tales have a creepy common thread, some kind of sleep demon or shadowy visitor holding people down. Now, with Newfoundland, Canada, locals call it the old hag, a witchy old lady who plops herself down on your chest while you're trying to sleep. The legend goes that she immobilizes her victims with this heavy pressure, sometimes whispering dark things. The good news? She doesn't actually eat you. The bad news? She'll mess with your night and probably your morning mood. Jump over to Japan, where the phenomenon is called, I'm going to mess this up, but I'm going to give it a shot, kanashibari, literally to be bound or fastened in metal. Imagine waking up feeling like invisible chains are locking you down, and the locals say that it's spirits or ghosts doing the binding. What's fascinating is the cultural framing. These spirits aren't necessarily evil, but are definitely meddlesome. Some believe they're tied to rituals or even curses. In Europe, the stories take a slightly sexier turn, if you can call demon attacks sexy. The incubus and succubus legends describe demons who sneak into bedrooms to torment or seduce sleepers, often blamed for nightmares and unexplained pregnancies. Medieval folks really had a flair for the dramatic, mixing fear, sin, and mystery in equal parts. Meanwhile, across the Middle East and North Africa, the jinn, D-J-I-N-N, are supernatural beings made of smokeless fire, capable of good or evil. They're believed to interact with humans, sometimes causing sleep paralysis episodes. The jinn aren't your typical Hollywood ghosts. They're complex, unpredictable, and part of a rich mythology that's still very much alive today, and more than likely the subject of a future 10-minute mystery episode. What's wild is that how these stories pop up in cultures that have had zero contact for centuries, yet the experience sounds eerily similar. People everywhere describe waking up unable to move, feeling a heavy weight on their chest, and sensing a presence in the room. Why? Some say it's a universal human experience made sense of in cultural terms. Others suggest there's something deeper, shared archetypes, or maybe even an ancient human memory of a real phenomenon. And it's not just in ancient tales. Even today, people report these experiences and tell stories framed by their culture. That means the folklore doesn't just explain the experience, it shapes it, influencing what people see, feel, and remember during these episodes. So whether it's a witch, a ghost, a demon, or just your brain, the stories we tell about sleep paralysis are part of a bigger human tradition of trying to understand what happens when the line between waking and dreaming blurs. All right, time to swap demons for neurons. Spoiler, your brain is a control freak, and sometimes it glitches in hilarious/terrifying ways. During REM sleep, the stage where you're dreaming about things like accidentally showing up to work in your underwear, or if you're me, you dream about, even though it's been decades since I've been in high school, I show up for high school and I forget the combination to my locker. That's mine. But your body hits an automatic lockdown. This paralysis keeps you from turning those dreams into real-world slapstick or, accidentally punching your roommate. But here's the kicker in all of this. Sleep paralysis happens when your brain wakes up before your body does, so your mind is fully online, seeing your bedroom, hearing the creaks, maybe even sensing that weird shadow on the wall. But your body is still stuck in dream mode, totally frozen. And because your brain is a drama queen, it sometimes throws hallucinations into the mix. Those aren't just random flashes. They often take the form of shadowy figures, a heavy presence, or even pressure sitting on your chest, the classic "someone's sitting on me" feeling. Scientists call these falling asleep or waking up hallucinations. There's a technical term, and it's a word hard to pronounce. I'm going to give it a shot. Anyway, hypnagogic is the falling asleep, or hypnopompic is waking up hallucinations. But you can just call them brain's creepy special effects. The triggers are surprisingly mundane. Stress, lack of sleep, irregular sleep schedules, certain medications, and even sleeping on your back can crank up the odds of sleep paralysis episodes. So yeah, your brain basically is messing with you, combining partial wakefulness with a lockdown body and a horror movie soundtrack in your head. Just a very confused brain trying to catch up with a body that's still in dreamland. But hey, just because science explains it doesn't mean it feels any less terrifying when it happens to you at 3 a.m., I'm sure. So, science hands us the "it's your brain" explanation. But what about when sleep paralysis stories spiral into something bigger? When does a brain glitch become a cultural shadow lurking over real people's lives? In some communities, these experiences aren't just isolated freakouts. They spark mass panic, sometimes even accusations of possessions or curses. Imagine an entire town convinced evil spirits are invading their sleep. That's more than just a bad night. That's a social hysteria with serious consequences. Take, for example, cases where people claim that repeated sleep paralysis led to intense fear, anxiety, or even psychosis. For some, the experience is so vivid and terrifying, it changes how they live, avoiding sleep, fearing the dark, or seeking out spiritual healers instead of doctors. There are documented stories where sleep paralysis incidents got tangled with religious or supernatural beliefs, sometimes leading to exorcisms or rituals. And here's the thing, these cultural interpretations can actually reinforce the episodes, making them more frequent and more severe. It's like a feedback loop where belief shapes experience. There's also a darker side. sleep paralysis linked to sudden unexplained death in some cases, particularly in certain populations. Scientists aren't exactly sure why, but it hints at how powerful and mysterious these nighttime episodes can be. So here's the puzzle. Is sleep paralysis purely a neurological hiccup, or is it a phenomenon deeply intertwined with human belief, fear, and culture, one that can shape reality just as much as the brain itself? That blurry line between fact and folklore, biology and belief, that's the real mystery behind sleep demons. So after all that, demons, folklore, brain glitches, and real-world consequences, why do these sleep demon stories still haunt us? Maybe it's because sleep paralysis taps into something universal, that terrifying moment when your mind wakes up but your body is stuck. It's a reminder that we're not as in control as we like to think, and our brains can play tricks on us that feel all too real. Folklore gave those experiences a face. Witches, spirits, demons, because humans have always tried to explain the unexplainable. That's why this podcast exists. And even with science offering answers, those ancient stories don't just disappear. They evolve, keeping the mystery alive in new ways. For some, these experiences are a gateway into deeper fears of helplessness, isolation, or even mortality. And maybe that's why these sleep demons continue to grip us, century after century. But here's the thing. Understanding what's going on doesn't make it less real to the person lying there awake in the dark, unable to move, convinced there's something there. So the mystery of sleep demons isn't just about what's lurking in the night. It's about how the mind and culture come together to create experiences that are equal parts terrifying and fascinating. Next time you can't move in the middle of the night, just remember, it's your brain throwing a pretty intense, if unwanted, party. And maybe keep the lights on. Thanks for listening to this episode of 10-Minute Mystery, the weird, wild world of sleep demons. And thankfully, I'm part of the 92% that has never experienced sleep demons. And I truly feel for you if you're part of that 8% that has to go through this and suffer with this. It would terrify me, and I want no part of it. All right, if you enjoyed the episode today, hit follow. Make sure you don't miss any future episodes. Make sure you rate and review the podcast 5 stars if you do enjoy it. Share it with your friends and family. And if you're into the brief and bingeable vibe of the podcast but want something a little darker, you can check out my other podcast. It's called 10-Minute Murder. And if you want more information on that, you can go to 10minutemurder.com. All right, that's going to do it. Thank you so much for listening to 10-Minute Mystery. See you next time.
Hi, I'm Richard Karn, and you may have seen me on TV talking about the world's #1 expandable garden hose. Well, the brand new Pocket Hose Copperhead with Pocket Pivot is here, and it's a total game changer. Old-fashioned hoses get kinks and creases at the spigot, but the Copperhead's Pocket Pivot swivels 360 degrees for full water flow and freedom to water with ease all around your home. When you're all done, this rust-proof anti-burst hose shrinks back down to pocket size for effortless handling and tidy storage. Plus, your super light and ultra-durable Pocket Hose Copperhead is backed with a 10-year warranty. What could be better than that? I'll tell you what, an exciting exclusive offer just for you. For a limited time, you can get a free Pocket Pivot and their 10-pattern sprayer with the purchase of any size Copperhead hose. Just text WATER to 64,000. That's WATER to 64,000 for your 2 free gifts with purchase. WATER to 64,000.
By texting 64,000, you agree to receive recurring automated marketing messages from Pocket Hose. Message and data rates may apply. No purchase required. Terms apply. Available at pockethose.com/terms.
Hi, I'm Richard Karn, and you may have seen me on TV talking about the world's #1 expandable garden hose. Well, the brand new Pocket Hose Copperhead with Pocket Pivot is here, and it's a total game changer. Old-fashioned hoses get kinks and creases at the spigot, but the Copperhead's Pocket Pivot swivels 360 degrees for full water flow and freedom to water with ease all around your home. When you're all done, this rust-proof anti-burst hose shrinks back down to pocket size for effortless handling and tidy storage. Plus, your super light and ultra-durable Pocket Hose Copperhead is backed with a 10-year warranty. What could be better than that? I'll tell you what, an exciting exclusive offer just for you. For a limited time, you can get a free Pocket Pivot and their 10-pattern sprayer with the purchase of any size Copperhead hose. Just text WATER to 64,000. That's WATER to 64,000 for your 2 free gifts with purchase. WATER to 64,000.
By texting 64,000, you agree to receive recurring automated marketing messages from Pocket Hose. Message and data rates may apply. No purchase required. Terms apply. Available at pockethose.com/terms.